Alright, so Chapter 16 for Dead by Daylight has officially gone into the PTB, the public test build, right now. And it's the Silent Hill chapter, which has me super excited because I am a massive fan of Silent Hill. Have been since I was a wee little lad, playing survival horror games every night with my friends. Silent Hill 1, 2, 3 wasn't quite out yet, but I loved the first two games when I was a kid, and I've grown to love 3 as well. 3 might be my favorite. So I'm very happy that like aspects like the original trilogy are all kind of in this DLC. So for a killer, we got Pyramid Head, as you can obviously see. Survivor side, which I'll also be checking out on this video, we got Heather Mason, Cheryl Mason, whatever you want to call her. She's the survivor, and we got the school as a map. Now, Pyramid Head is a bit of a complex killer, but he's not a super complex killer. There are just a lot of different aspects to him. So he has multiple different abilities. I would say 3 abilities in total. So the first one is he can leave a trail. So what happens is you hold your ability button and you drag your sword behind you and you put a trail on the map. Now, what this does is if a survivor walks or runs over it, not crouch, crouch it ignores, but walk or run, the survivor is going to become tormented. When they become tormented, at first they're going to be revealed via a killer instinct blip, like the Legion sort of frenzy hits. But beyond that, when you down them, you're going to be able to send them to a cage. And the cage is more or less a hook, right? So it functions just like a hook. They get brought there, they have 2 phases. If they're not saved in time, they're dead. Okay, cool. The interesting thing about the cage is if they get sent to these cages, they can't attempt escape, and no perks relating to hooks even work with these cages. So as a killer, I'm not going to have barbecue and chili working because it's not a hook. Pop, it's not a hook. Stuff like that's not going to work. And if they get saved from the cages, it doesn't function as a hook, so D-Strike's not going to activate. Borrowed Time's not going to activate. Well, Make It's not going to activate. Kindred doesn't work. These cages are completely different entities, and it's super cool. Oh, look, we got a match. So that's the first ability. The second ability that we have is called, I think it's called, like, Right of Judgment. What is it called? It is called, Punishment of the Damned. So what happens is when I'm dragging my sword, I can set up this huge tremor, right? The tremor is going to more or less lift up the ground and injure the survivors in it. It's a very narrow thing, and it's a very short range, unless you run add-ons for it, and you'll see it like in action. Also, the add-ons are really just kind of like longer range. See auras like when you put someone in a cage. Like, they're nothing crazy. But that's that. And the third thing he can do is, of course, he can do 3 things. So we got the Fisher, we got the, or rather the Tremor, we got the Cage with the Torment. We also have a Mini Mori. If they are on Death Hook and they're tormented and I down them, I can just Mori them. It's a very quick, brutal Mori. They're out of the game. So you gotta be very careful when you're tormented, especially around Death Hook, because the only way you can get rid of Torment is by getting hooked and being saved, or saving someone from a cage. So you're stuck with Torment. He has 3 perks. I'm only using 1 right now. The first one's called Deathbound. Deathbound is the one I'm using. When a survivor heals another survivor from 32 meters or more away, they're going to scream. And the one that screams and reveals themselves is also going to be oblivious to you at tier 3 until you're 8 meters away. So you're going to be very silent moving around the map up on the one that does the heal for 45 seconds. The next 2 perks are kind of pointless in my opinion. One's called Trail of Torment. When you kick a generator, it gets highlighted to the survivor which generator gets kicked. And you become undetectable for 15 seconds, so you kind of don't really get much benefit out of that, unfortunately. It just is what it is. I don't see much of a purpose to that. And the last one is called Forced Penance. When you go and... Sorry, I'm like trying to think and play. You know, your brain slows down when this happens. When a survivor goes for a body block or a protection hit, they become broken for 30 seconds, and honestly, 30 seconds, it really isn't anything in this game. So I fail to see the purpose in that, but it's just a way to kind of punish people that go for body blocks and protection hits. So those are the 3 perks there, and we'll go over the survivor side stuff. We will go over the survivor side stuff. I'm surprised I actually got that. when we play a Survivor match after this, where the queue should be nice and quick, because that queue for me was about 12 minutes. So the trail, the tremor is brought through the ground, works really well at dropped pallets and vaults. It's a very short range, but if you can kind of like get them behind a piece of cover where they're not going to really be able to move, you can really force them to go down, which I think is awesome. But yeah, here's the sword. You kind of make a trail. Cool, they step over that to become tormented. I don't really get torments often, but we'll probably do it this game at some point. Although I'm facing at least one decent survivor that I can tell. Because I recognize at least one name here. Hello. What's up? Alright, I have Tinkerer on. I forgot I have Tinkerer. But that also means they're about to pop a gen right there, which, not brilliant. So, this ability works very oddly, to say the least, around, uneven terrain. I think is one way to put it. You'll kind of notice as I go for him. Where'd you go? Lady, I just downed you. Where are you? Oh, you DC'd. That's why I can't find you to pick you up. Makes perfect sense. So one thing you're going to notice, especially if I go for hits like that, this attack is very, very easy to kind of predict and dodge. Which is why I said it's really good, like close range, like around vaults, stuff like that. Yeah, I kind of figured that wouldn't hit. I guess we'll try and brute force the killer shack. We'll try. Can she make that? No. No, she cannot. It was ambitious going for that hit, but we went for it anyways. Ooh. She screamed, okay. Oh, that's from my perk. I thought she ran over the nice little, thing I've been putting down on the map for. So one thing you can definitely do is you can do this to try and trick them, and then kind of like let go of it to make them think, hey, you're about to do your attack, but you're really not. That's a good way to try and like catch up a bit. Okay, Tinker is going off. They're gonna pop that gen. You probably have Dead Hard, right? I have no idea how that one missed. That's a bit finicky, a little bit odd. I'm kind of glad I'm failing this though, because you can kind of see like why this one attack here, not brilliant. It's really not. I kind of feel like they need to widen it a tiny bit. Obviously, it's very early to really make that judgment call, but it's a very just easy attack to miss. Got her. Alright, let's send her to the cage. So we put her in the cage, and teleport her to somewhere random works just like a hook. So she got brought right down here. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. First thing I want to do really is just kind of check the cage, make sure no one's near it. Because, well, someone could obviously. Be right there, and you would never know. Because it spawns them randomly. It's cool. Looks like we're in a good spot right now, though. Alright, you got saved. But yeah, there's really not much else to like save on Pyramid Head. I kind of wish we got the new map, but unfortunately it didn't line up like that. With PTB queues, I'm not going to like keep trying to get it. Hopefully we'll get it on Survivor. We'll see. The only place I could have went up way I was over here. Let's say, maybe I can get like a mini Mori if I'm lucky. I doubt it though. But we shall see. Got ya. And there's no risk of DS because they were put off a cage. So we good. Oh, hello. So I know there was at least one behind the truck, but did she... I know we have one that just ran to the gas station, but I was like, maybe we still have one back here. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Yeah, so far so good. It's just that this attack, this one's just a pain in the ass. It's because it's such like a narrow range. When I do a Survivor game, I'll probably dodge a bunch too, if those killers like very insistent on it. Okay, they're going for the save now. Hello, hello. And so far so good. I just don't know like how to build him. That's my biggest uncertainty with him, is I'm not fully sure like how I should be building him. You realize you're pretty much dead, right? If I down them, they get the mini Mori, though. So let's get our mini Mori, huh? Let's do it. So they're already on Death Hook. They were tormented, so I can just kill them. Done. Easy peasy. Now you've seen like every aspect of this killer. Somehow that missed her, as that actually further proves my point about like how narrow this is. Because that was right on her, and it was like, nah. Which is fine. But they're definitely going to need to widen that up a little bit. In me opinion. Not much, though. If you make that too wide, it's going to be super broken. But it's like a little bit more of a chunk to that would be good. Or like just a quicker appearance of the tremor itself. Because you get a lot of prep time as a Survivor to kind of like react to where it's going to be and move out of the way. Which again, when I go to Survivor, you'll most likely see. It's still a good attack, though. It's a great attack. It's just, you know, I feel like it could just be better without being fundamentally broken. Okay. We'll send her off, and we get someone by the pallet here. Unless Hatch is in Killer Shack, she's probably dead. Yep, she's smart. Yep, she's gonna run away. I'm experimenting a bit with play with your food on him. I think play with your food might be pretty good, especially in combo with Nemesis. But it's a kind of a case of, even if you do that, most survivors... Or your playstyle is not going to really be based on getting stunned as Pyramid Head. Because you're really going to be going for like those tremor attacks. Behind pallets a little bit too much to really get stunned. But I feel like play with your food might be really cool on him. So I'm trying to find a way to make that work. But I've been liking the Tinkerer synergy on him. You already saw it work like a few times this game. Just being able to kind of do that ranged attack and just kind of get everyone off the gen because it can hit multiple people. I think Tink might be a really solid choice on him. So I've been experimenting a little bit with that. Cool. And we get some nice salt. Only the best for you, Tap. Take care, pal. So we got a DC and some post-game salt. Yeah, it sounds like typical DB day. Alright, now let's go over to Survivor and do a quick match as Heather Mason. I might as well use her, although I only have her at level 1, but we might as well show her and play as her. I'll play as, I'll use the one perk that I find to be super interesting. So, just like, you know, a lovely Pyramid Head, like every other chapter in this game, there are 3 perks Survivor's side. I'll go over the tier 3 variants, even though I only have the tier 1s here. But we got Soul Guard. Soul Guard is super cool. When you pick up anybody from the dying state, or rather, after you're healed, or you recover someone else from dying state, sorry. Mine good old Jumbly. At tier 3, you get Endurance for 8 seconds. So, while you have Endurance, obviously means kind of like a borrowed time sort of state. So you get picked up as a slug, you get hit again, you absorb the hit. That's just how that works for 8 seconds. So it's going to be a decent counter to stuff like Infectious Fright, especially in clutch situations. But the interesting thing is, if there is a Hex Totem lit and available, you basically have unlimited Unbreakable. You just keep picking yourself up, as long as a Hex Totem's up. So you're kind of influenced to keep totems lit with this perk. It's a really interesting one. Then we got Blood Pact. Blood Pact, I don't really see much of a point to. So basically what happens is, when me or the Obsession's injured, we basically see each other, kind of like that new key ring that there is for the keys that came out a few patches ago. So we have like a permanent link when one of us is injured. And then when I get healed by my Obsession, or I heal the Obsession, I get haste for 8 seconds. And if you're the Obsession, you don't get the perk. The perk itself deactivates if you are the Obsession. So it's kind of like a see your Obsession, and then also healing gives you a little bit of bonus speed. It's kind of pointless, but I guess cool. The really cool one, though, the one I'm using, is called Repressed Alliance. Which, at tier 3, every 60 seconds, you repair generators. You get to block the generator with the entity block. Now, you're probably asking yourself, like, why as a Survivor would I ever want to block the gens and make them unrepairable? So here's the thing. It's going to be a direct counter to Ruin, because if you leave the generator, gens can't regress when they're blocked. It's going to be a direct pop counter, so the killer gets a hook, they get close to you, you lock the gen, they can't pop, goes the weasel it. If you're about to get 3 gen, you can block the generator to tell your teammates, like, yo, please don't turn on this generator, we're going to get 3 gens. The killer's about to chase you off a gen, but they don't have pop. Well, at least you can lock it so they can't kick it and chase you. And that's the whole general gist, like, why I think this perk's super cool. I just love the idea that I can block my own gens and kind of, like, prevent perks from affecting them, or prevent the killer from kicking them and letting them regress as I'm busy in a chase, or use it as a warning signal. Really, really cool stuff. And again, we didn't get the new map, but whatever, what can you do? Nature of PTBs. Yeah, that's the whole gist of all the perks. The killer, and then Survivor is still going to be Survivor. This should be Pyramid Head, I'm assuming. Oops. So when we meet him, you'll kind of see like what he's like to face. It's a super fun killer to try and face. And honestly, the DLC just seems fantastic to me. I'm super happy with it. And I actually almost have my perk ready. Which is lovely. Just got a little ways to go. We have Pyramid Head. So as you can see, even though I wasn't paying attention, damn, we're tormented. Very, very easy to read it. Very, very easy to read this attack. I'm gonna drop a pallet early. Normally, like, you'd want to go full loopy-loop, but you leave yourself so vulnerable when dropping a pallet for a hit that he's kind of like a Death Slinger or like a Huntress in a way, where you really want to drop the pallets, I feel like, a little bit earlier. To avoid anything crazy happening to you. I I'm definitely taking stuff a little bit wider to throw off, like, any sort of lining up he'll be doing. I'm gonna get hit here. No, I'm not. Oh, wow. Okay, we're good. Still gonna stay on me, buddy? Okay. Just remember, this was your choice, buddy. You finally leave me? No, he's still on me. Okay. Now, Pyramid Head, I just want to remind you again, this was your full choice to do this chase. Not mine. Would you like some help? Okay. Okay, there we go. That gen still pops, so we're fine. He only hit me once and stopped the commitment. You would think, like, he'd follow up and go for the down, like, at that level of commitment, but you know what? Whatever. All good. Also, to be fair, PTB matchmaking's awful. Because I have 5,400 hours in this game now. And I began, like, ranked 17s and ranked 20s. And I'm, like, US East, and they've been putting me in EU all night. So, matchmaking PTB-wise is very odd. So I've been kind of used to facing survivors and killers that are doing, like, very, very odd moves. To say the least. I just wish I have, like, I wish I have an opportunity to kind of show this perk work. But I'm not just going to use it just for the sake of using it. Alright, so here's one thing I just learned. You can't block a generator if someone else is doing it with you. You're going to be solo on it. That makes sense. Fair enough. You don't want to finish healing me? Listen, I know you got adrenaline. But, I don't. I'm playing as level 1. Okay. I'm gonna try and keep my distance, because I'm always, like, wary of Noed. Especially during PTB, when that's, like, probably the most common perk you're gonna get on a Blood Web, it feels like. So until someone else gets hit, I don't feel very comfortable. Alright, it's not Noed unless that was a Tremor attack. Although I think Noed is still even reveal on a Tremor. I know it's not called the Tremor attack, that's what I call it, okay? Caged right next to me. Instantly saved. She got caged right next to a current survivor. That did not work out well for the Pyramid Head. Here he comes, so I'm just going to open up the gate. And I'm just going to stay in for half a second. Alright, we should be good. Yeah, we're good. If all three are healthy, then no one should be going down. I should just be safe to leave. And no one should be at any risk. Okay. We're good. Cool. But yeah, that's the Silent Hill DLC. Yeah, I got a 17. I'm not super surprised. That's just how PTB matchmaking's been. But yeah, that's the Silent Hill DLC. I think it's freaking awesome. I wish we got the new map to show that, because it's a really well done indoor map. I love it. But yeah, like, I think overall, first impressions, not like full review of it. I think Pyramid Head has a lot of cool mechanics. I don't think he's a super powerful killer, but I think he's a very interesting killer. And I think the mechanics of being able to kind of like leave trails, like in major choke points, like I think that could be like a really cool thing to do. And just use your ability to kind of like get Torment mode ready. By like, let's say blocking off Killer Shack, or blocking off like the center of a map by like near like a center gen. Like maybe just like outside, like, you know, I've always been thinking kind of like go to Red Forest, right? And you get like that upstairs cabin generator. Like, you could maybe do, like, a little trail, like, in front of the door going towards the gen, and, like, block that off, like, if it works like that. I've been thinking of, like, little things you could do to kind of, like, use them as, like, a big choke point killer. The little tremor attack, I think it's awesome. It's very weak, unless, like, you're doing it when people are locked into animations. But, I mean, I feel like that's its main purpose anyways. So, I think it's fine for what it is. I just wish it was a little bit wider. I think the Mini Mori idea is super cool. I think 2 of the perks, 1 on each side, have a lot of cool uses to them. 1 on Survivor side, the Soul Guard perk, actually is a very good perk. And I feel like it's going to be one of those perks that... I think that one's going to cause, like, a lot of commotion in the community, I think, over time. We'll see. Having, like, unlimited unbreakables and endurance on pickup and stuff. I feel like that one might be questioned a little bit, but whatever. I think the perks themselves, for the most part, are a little bit weak. They're not offensively bad. Like, none of the perks are actually bad. There's a few that are pretty good. They're just, like, a little bit... They need, like, some adjustments. I think some need, like, a longer timer on them. Others need, like, a slightly different range. Just... They need, like, some little tweaks here and there. But I think it's very promising. I'm very excited for this chapter when it launches. I'm going to leave the test build now, though, because I've put so much time in this test build as it is. I think I've done, like, 7 or 8 hours of testing in it. I love it. Can't wait for it to come out. Silent Hill chapter, it's awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all have a lovely day. Toodles.